Hey guys, and welcome back to Bendy and Ink Machine for the final time. Yet today we are going to be going through the archive. Which, Bendy and Ink Machine had a lot of progression over the years. Well, 2 years, but yeah. Let's just have a look. Ah. Okay, well. Just for warning, there's going to be a lot of reading in this one again, so hopefully my voice doesn't die halfway through. Bendy and the Ink Machine began when the developer/cartoonist known as the Meatly experimenting with Okay, let's try that again. Bendy and the Ink Machine began with the developer/cartoonist known as the Meatly experimented with bringing a sketch 2D style into a 3D world. After turning the idea into a horror game, Chapter 1 of the game was created in a little under a week, with programmer friend Mike Mood, and released on February 10th in 2017. Much to their surprise, it struck a chord with the global indie gamers almost overnight. The Meatly and Mike Mood my English is failing. Decided to drop all other projects to work on Bendy and tell a more unique Ink story. The entire game was completed a chapter at a time in a year and a half by a small but dedicated group of indie developers. Although the concept and story remained as originally intended, the game changed over development as characters and models were refined from the early thrown together versions. This archive is a peek behind the scenes at that process. Yeah, which the chapter at a time I mentioned in the last video, because of stuff wasn't concrete, or wasn't obvious, so there was a lot of just allow you to predict what you wanted. Oh, nice. Okay, let's start with the main character, I guess. Henry Stein, once an equal business partner of Jerry Drew, Henry Stein was a talented animator and character designer until leaving the company around 1930. His place in Jerry Drew Studios' history is somewhat undocumented, but he is often remembered to be the true creator behind many of the studio's most memorable characters. Yeah, fair enough. So of course, in this game, we're not given a model for what he looks. Oh, wasn't even intended, but sure. Yeah, Henry doesn't have a model, but they eventually do give him one in Dark Revival, which again led to people just making a model for him whenever they did music videos, animations, all that sort of things. Going to keep out. Okay, I guess let's move on to wow, that's a lot of versions of Bendy, Christ. Concept Bendy. This is the first version of Bendy ever modelled. In its earliest concept, Bendy was much smaller and cuter, with a face that split open to reveal a terrifying mouth. I mean, if you had that thing snapping at you and chased you through the halls, that would be creepy, I guess? I can understand why they changed it, though. There's tons of model art quite everywhere, like, Jesus. Okay. Alpha Bendy. This was the original game-used design of Ink Bendy from the earliest version of Chapter 1. It is jokingly referred to as bird poop with a smile among the development team. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's not very good. It's mostly just a stump with a head. Let's see. That was beta release. That was chapter 1. Then this was the remodel. for Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Beta Bendy. This was Ink Bendy's form until the release of Chapter 4. At that time, the game received a major visual upgrade and the title character got a new model as well. Yeah. And then we get to the final version, Ink Bendy. Ink Bendy, as we know him today, although similar to Beta Bendy, this upgraded version was remodeled, enhanced with a higher polygon count and given new ink effects. Doesn't have the shaking mouth though, so... yeah, you can definitely see the improved model. Oh, that stupid hand. I hated that thing. Oh, hi Sammy. Okay. Beast Bendy. Ink Bendy's horrific final form in Chapter 5 pulled away the cartoon facade and revealed the demon within. Which, to be honest, he sort of looks like Bendy in Dark Revival, just in its normal state. But, yeah. Oh, now on to the Searcher. Beta Searcher. Early in development, with just a few weeks to create Chapter 2, the Beta Searcher were designed in record time before being fully retuned later on. They were the first fighting enemy encountered in the game. Wow. Yet, see, that's the thing, they rushed to get Chapter 2 out and then problems came, especially when it came down to Chapter 3. Because when that came out, it was a rushed mess with stuff bugging everywhere. Especially the lift. The amount of times that would bug, stuff wouldn't save properly, it wouldn't count that you've completed an objective, causing you to have to restart the entire chapter. And it was just like, it was a mess. Which was why people hated it at the time, which... I would still say Chapter 3 is the most disliked chapter out of all of them, just due to the constant backwards and forwards. But the bugs are all fixed now. It just made them taller. Final Searcher. The Final Searcher were far more robust in appearance. They were smoother with better ink effects and a more human appearance. I wouldn't say human, but I can see where you're coming from. Oh, Beta Sammy. With his first appearance in Chapter 2, fan favourite Sammy Lawrence became a terrifyingly entertaining character. With his slim build was deemed not threatening enough, he was redesigned and given a better skeletal rig for more advanced animation. Yeah, he does kind of just look like a blob. But to be fair, everything does, so... Hide. Final Sammy. Sammy Lawrence's final form came completely with a bulked up statue, a more powerful limbs. The mad songwriter may finally get noticed now. At least by fans. Yeah, Sammy Lawrence is very popular with the fan base. Which was kind of why people got upset in Dark Revival, as he wasn't in it, like, at all. He showed up in the final scene and died immediately. A lost one. I think you got it the worst, mate. You're just stuck here. Okay, well, there's no... Yeah, but both Alice Angels, with Alison Pendle and Susie Campbell, if I think I got those two the right way around. Which I know Susie is a bit demented, but I gotta give her some, like, credit. Like, basically Joey gave her a character she loved, kicked her off it, and then said, oh, I can give you that character back. Literally. To be fair, Joey's fucked up, so yeah. It would have been nice to learn more about these two Alison Pendle and I think he's Thomas Connor, I think. It would have been nice to have, like, more talking to them, because basically all you had was, I'm trying to remember, you had a 10-minute cutscene of just watching them talk to each other, well, Allison talking. Then you got them helping you in a fight scene, so you're not really focusing on them. Then they abandon you to go fight the Ink Demon by yourself. Good job, guys. Wow. Beta Boris. Papa was the original name of the character that eventually became Boris the Wolf. This earlier version was released with Chapter 1. He was quickly refined into the Boris we know today with the release of Chapter 2. Yeah, so it seems like in Chapter 1 they were going more on the push the ink style. Well, push the ink, but then it made character that didn't look very good. Boris the Wolf. Boris the Wolf, a friend to the end, was designed using various references from cartoons from the 1920s. A blend of West Coast and East Coast animation styles, the silent and supportive wolf won over the hearts of many, although at times he was a headache for the development team due to his AI taking on a mind of its own during production. How? Sure. Brute Boris. Alice Angel's monstrosity. Brute Boris was one of the biggest surprises of Chapter 4. Its design was roughly based on Frankenstein's monster, but with a more unfinished appearance. Alice took parts from within him and substituted things that his body is rapidly rejecting. Yeah, what, like the pipes in the shoulder, the splint on the leg with the broken bone coming out, the quite open hole in the chest. Back around. Okay. Original ink machine. Before the major visual upgrade, this version of the ink machine was the one used in the game. Much of this machine's iconic fan-loving design was translated into the final version. Yeah, you could kind of see that. It's ironic, the ink machine just mostly got a tweaking and a refine, but overall it was quite good. So. Bertram Piedmont. You sucked. The Butcher Gang. The Piper, Strike and Fisher made up the Deadly Butcher Gang. Interestingly, the ink-corrupted versions of these characters were designed first and then were reverse engineered back into their more friendly cartoon forms. Really? That seems like quite hard to do. Because if you've got something, then you can like see where you can deform it. But now you get given that, it's like, okay, well, how do I fix that? Especially ones like Fisher. Like, how do you deal with a head that's not even on the body? Yeah, they do things in their own strange way. Okay, well, that's the archive. Gotta admit though, some of this artwork is quite good. Well, I mean, it's all good, but some of them is extremely good. A bit confused about what that one's meant to be at the top, but maybe that's to design like how badly unstable this place was. I don't know. It's one thing I did like though, as you went on in the chapters, was in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, it's like very clean, very pristine of this is a building. well, you were in a clean building. Well, ignoring all the bit where it's abandoned and some bits are destroyed, but you get the idea. But then you're getting on to like chapter 3 and chapter 4, and it's getting more rustic, and there's quite obvious holes in the walls where there's stone and it's underground. And then chapter 5 is like, this is the bottom of, this is the most rustic and mess-driven place. To be fair, that's where Bendy lives, so fair enough. Well, that was the Archives. A lot shorter than the Dark Revival one, but there was a lot less characters. Yeah, more direct story. Which, I still like Bendy and the Machine, I think it came out very well. The thing was, for their first game, they didn't pull down distress, like, they took their time. I think it was like half a year it took for Chapter 5 to come out. They put the time into it to make sure that it finished properly and had that good had that refined feeling to it. It wasn't just rushed so everyone could play it, which ironically meant that we ended up waiting like 5 years to get Dark Revival, but the fans were fine. See, the thing is, people are happy to wait for a game as long as it's like a good game that actually has a function, is all working, and with a great story. Like some game companies forget about sometimes. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. A goodbye.